All right, you would eat that cookie.
I would.
I bet it's nice and chewy too. I bet it got raisins.
No, that sounds good though. No, this is actually like a maple syrup flavored one, so it has like a maple cream filling.
Ah.
Oh, not.
Sounds too sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
I bet it's sweet.
That's what she said. Okay, let me see here. Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh. Yeah, I might do a little bit of a fighting game roundup because... Yeah. Okay, all right. So I'll talk about fighting games. I'll try to keep it short.
All right.
Then after that, we'll just get on into it. But let me just go ahead and say, hey guys, this is The Philosopher, and welcome to another episode of the Console Xplosion podcast. Tonight, it is just me and Tyler. The other people are nowhere to be seen, so Tyler's the only one that was nice enough to come hang out with me, so I appreciate that. All you other guys out there suck. I'm just kidding. They're fine. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about fighting games, and then we'll get into the Tomb Raider movie trailer that just dropped. In case you didn't know, there is a trailer for Tomb Raider, the movie, that just dropped. And we'll get into that in just a second. But over last week actually, there was a beta for Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's Dragon Ball Fighter, and then there's big Z at the end. So I don't know if it's Fighters or Fighter Z.
I believe it's Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Okay, that doesn't roll off the tongue.
It only makes sense since we call the show Dragon Ball Z. So
yeah, that's what I'm going to assume, but who knows? Fighting games have some weird names sometimes, but I got a chance to play it. One of my friends was nice enough to let me come hang out and play the beta with them, and I've got to say I'm super impressed with the game. I wasn't super interested in it because there's been so many fighting games coming out in the last few months. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out yesterday. People are loving that. But yeah, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. If you like Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and if you like fighting games like Marvel vs. Capcom or even Guilty Gear or BlazBlue, however you want to pronounce it, this game is right up your alley. They made it so that it's really in depth, but it's also really simple to pick up, which is really fun. They have kind of an auto combo system in there. I don't know if you can turn it off because I couldn't customize the buttons too much. I could just change the configuration, but I couldn't look at what did what. So we had to go online and look up some of the inputs and kind of just through trial and error because it was an online only beta, so I couldn't do any training mode or anything. Just trying stuff out.
Okay, so it's basically just hit a bunch of buttons and you do a bunch of cool things.
On the surface level, yeah. So you can press the light button and you'll do an automatic combo. But there's a light, medium, heavy, and then a key blast button. It's pretty cool because the key blast button is also the same button that you use to deflect the key blast. You press back and that button. I think it's A or X on a controller on Xbox PS.
The key blast, that's the energy wave, right?
Yeah, the really generic ones where they're just la 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 la, not the super Kamehameha ones and stuff like that. Those are special inputs. But yeah, it's it's the best of both worlds because it's kind of simple to pick up, so you can kind of beat up on your friends. But there's so much depth to it because it's a tag game, so you can tag in your partner, and that makes it really cool. And it's 3-on-3.
I see.
You can tag them in at any time. What were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. I was thinking it's kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom a bit.
Yeah, it's really like Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Now, was tagging out easy? Because I always have a difficult time tagging out in Marvel vs. Capcom.
I'd say so. Yeah. It's traditionally a 4-button game, but I think there's a button for tag partner 1 and partner 2. You press it once to get an assist. You hold it to get your partner to come in.
Okay.
What's kind of interesting is it's a mixture of not Guilty Gear, but King of Fighters and Marvel in the sense that you can tag your partners in at any time, but if one of your dudes die, then there's a little KO screen and it kind of resets back to a neutral. So it's not all of a sudden a new character comes in and the other person gets a free mix up, a free opportunity to hit your character coming in. So I think that's kind of cool that they reset back to neutral each time,
Mm.
because usually the player coming in is at a disadvantage already on top of like a player doing like something weird.
You mean they kill the other characters off even though he's just one, or?
Yeah, so each character has their own health bar. So say I'm playing like Goku, Krillin, and Gohan, and I'm playing Goku, and
Okay.
Goku's character, like his life goes down to 0. If we were playing Marvel, the next character would just hop on in, and
Yes.
the person, like if I was playing Goku and you were playing the other guy, you could move anywhere on the screen. And so the issue with that, not really an issue, but the thing with that is that you can make it to where I have to guess what you're going to do, and so all I can do is really block on the way in. I can't get an attack. You have the advantage. You have the upper ground pretty much. Whereas in this one, instead, like you can't do anything. It kind of resets back to like a round 1 or round 2 fight.
Okay.
But like all the health bars are still the same. It's not like my health bar reset or anything like that. So you can tag them on in. So say Gohan hops in, takes a bunch of damage, and is at half health and comes back out. You can tag him back out. But when he comes back in, like if Goku dies, then he's just gonna have his remaining life left. So I think it was a good idea that they did that. I'm getting into like very technical stuff, but I like that they kind of combined a lot of good things from a lot of different fighting games, and they made it seamless like Marvel to where you can tag in at any time, but they also made it to where it's pretty fair when your character goes down, so that someone's not like just ready to beat you up right away again.
Now, is there like a time limit for how long they can stay tagged out, or?
No, as long as someone else is alive. There's no time. I think there might be like an overall universal time, but I didn't recognize that. I never had a match run out of time. But there's some really cool stuff in there. Like, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like, if you've ever watched the anime, then you know how like when they're fighting, they'll teleport behind you and like elbow you or something like that.
Yes.
You can do that, and you can do that multiple times, and it's really cool the way they set it up. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's really awesome. Because like you can do a normal combo and then send a person flying, and then if you press the button afterwards, like it doesn't have like strict timing. It's just you have to know that it's a thing. And so like you'll do a combo like light, they'll go flying into the air, and then you press that teleport button, and like you'll go behind them and like hit them, and they'll go flying again, and then you can rush after them or tag in somebody else. So it's really cool. It's going to take some practice to get some of the really, really awesome combos to be achieved, but it's also it's really cool and it's really fun to look at. And I think anyone that watches Dragon Ball Z is going to understand what's going on, even if they don't know how to play the game. So I think they did a really, really good job with this game, and I'm excited about it. I wasn't before. I didn't really care, but once I went over to my friend's house and tried it out, I was like, there's no reason for me to not try it out. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
So it sounds interesting. Now, what's your thoughts of it being maybe an esport game? You think that would be possible?
Oh yeah. I definitely think there's going to be tournaments for it. Like day 1, week 1, there's going to be tournaments for it, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Like I hope they do it at Comic Breaker. I'm almost sure they will, which is in Chicago. It's the biggest fighting game tournament in Chicago. I hope they do one there. It's usually every Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, I definitely think they're going to have. I don't know if it's going to be like Street Fighter level to where it's like on TV. But there will definitely be tournaments on Twitch because like the FGC is so interesting to where it's never one specific fighting game. It's always like a whole bunch of them, except for like the invitational like higher up ones. And that's only Street Fighter and like Injustice that usually do those.
All right, you think you do well on those?
You know what? I don't know. Like earlier on, maybe I might not do too bad because I'm getting Marvel, and it's very similar to Marvel. So I don't think some of the top level players, I think they would probably beat me, but I think I could hold my own once I learned, got my hands on the game and figured out what does what. Yeah, I think I do okay.
Okay.
Yeah. On that same note, like I said before, Injustice or Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has come out yesterday. I haven't played it. I hope to play it this weekend, if not sooner. But I've been watching tons of gameplay on it, and it just like I'm enjoying watching people play it because one of the cool things about the game is it's like, how do I put this into words? Like, if you don't play fighting games, basically this game is a lot more. I don't know if customizable is the right word. Like, you can play the way you want to play. Like in Street Fighter, you have a Ryu, he plays a very set sort of way. You have a Chun-Li, they play a set sort of way. But in this game, you can play so many different styles, and you can kind of find what works for you. And on top of that, there's this infinity gem system to where you can use any of the different infinity gems, and they all do different things. So you can play Mega Man and you can play them like 6 different ways because he has different stones and they all do different things. So it's a 2-on-2, not a 3-on-3 anymore.
Oh, okay. So they got rid of 3-on-3.
Yeah, it's 3-on-3. It works fairly differently from the last iteration, but it looks so cool. And just watching people like test it out and try to learn all these new things, like it's so fun watching people just like test it out and be like, oh, you can do this. Like the early stages of a fighting game, especially Marvel, is so fun to watch. And this is a little bit different because there's so much stream and like content online to watch that it's just like you see people going in their own different ways and doing all these tutorials, and they're trying to figure it out on their own. And they're just like, oh, you can do this different thing. I didn't know you could do that. That's so awesome. And I'm like,
okay,
with them. So it's really fun. Marvel's one of those games that like it got me into fighting games competitively. So it has a near and dear place to me. A lot of people were bashing on it, and now that it's out, everyone's like, oh, this game is great. A few people here and there are complaining about a few things. Like the roster, I will say, is a little lackluster. There's some cool characters, but there could have been more. There could have been more. I know they're going to do DLC, and there's argument back and forth. Like, putting too many characters makes it harder for competitions, makes it harder to balance. I can understand that argument, but at the same time, as a fanboy, I would like to see a whole bunch of characters in there. Also, X-Men characters aren't in there. That's not Capcom nor Marvel's fault because Fox owns the rights to those characters in some form or fashion.
But I thought that's only in the movie industry, not the comics or gaming, though.
I think it still applies to gaming because otherwise they would have put him in there.
Okay.
Like Wolverine would have definitely been in there. He's a staple. This is like the first Marvel I think he's not in. I believe, unless he wasn't in the first one, which I'm pretty sure he was. But if the game does well, I get the feeling they might come out as DLC, like Storm, Wolverine, maybe a few other characters. Like I think Fox also owns Deadpool.
No, I was thinking a different Fox. Oh,
yeah.
Yes, Fox does own Deadpool because they own the license to it. I do love the history of the Deadpool movie, so that's how I know. I love the history.
Yeah.
But you mentioned each character have like multiple different styles. How does that work again? Is it like the old Mortal Kombat games like Deception when you just hit the left trigger to switch styles? Or is it like more like Mortal Kombat? Was it
Mortal Kombat X? No.
X. Well,
it's actually neither of those. Like the main things that are that help it be customizable is one, like the movement system in the game is so like free, like with the super jump and all that kind of stuff, that you have a lot of variety just within the character. There's no like different styles or modes that you can switch per character, but because you can play 2 characters, you can do a lot of different things. So your other character can be a different play style. So you can play like a very basic style like Ryu and Iron Man, and you kind of not projectile heavy, but like they're very close up in your face. They have certain combos where you can play a flying character, and then also with the different Infinity Gems. I don't want to explain all of them because it would take too long, and I don't know them super well. But like each Infinity Gem has a different like skill that you can use. If you play Street Fighter, it's kind of like a V skill. But it's something kind of basic that you can use. It's infinite resources, no pun intended. But you just keep using it, and it fills up a infinity gauge, or I think it's your infinity gauge. And so when it gets full, you can use an infinity storm, and each one has a different ability. Like I think Soul has it so that you can resurrect a dead ally, and so both of them are on the screen at the same time. Another one makes it like Power just makes it so that you do more damage, and you do like wall bounces and stuff like that, so you can do longer combos. And the combos are already ridiculous without any extra power-ups as it is. And there's also like different mechanics to where you can do one wall bounce, one off the ground, and one something else I can't think of. So it's like there's a lot of variety within the mechanics of the game that allow you to do whatever you want. So you can do very basic combos and just go for high damage, or you can also go for what's called a reset, to where to explain the usefulness of a reset, I have to explain damage scaling. So the longer your combo, so say you're doing like a 60 hit combo, eventually it's going to do like 1 damage.
Yes.
Do anything. So the best thing to do is to make a scenario to where it's called a reset, where you force your opponent to basically guess what you're going to do. So you hit them, and then basically they hop out of your combo, but all they can really do is block, because while they're recovering, you're already ready to attack. So like their move can't come out faster than your move. And so you can either like grab them, or you can attack them, like hit them high or low. So it's basically called a mix-up. And it's called a reset because the combo meter starts from 0 again. So the scaling resets. So
sounds like a cheap move.
I mean, you can think of it that, but it's complicated it's a challenge to do. And then at the same time, you also can't be predictable. So like, because your opponent can guess. But that's what makes it fun about the game, is that you have like all these different options that you can do, and all these things you can play. It's a lot more difficult in a different kind of way, because there's just so much going on, and there's so much going on screen, and there's so much to learn about the game. But if you just sit down and actually just have the patience to understand it and learn all the different intricacies of the game, it's actually really, really enjoyable. And you get to play however you want to play, whether it be like fancy combos or just playing a cool character that you like. Like I'll probably play Zero again just because I like him. I might play Gamora because she has a sword, or Zero Mega Man X, just because that's kind of
cool. The red guy, right?
Zero's the red guy. Yeah, he has the green beam sword. Yeah.
All right.
He's badass.
Now, I got a question. Is this Marvel vs. Capcom game? Is it like the next update from 3?
It's basically 4. It's part 4.
Okay. So you're saying I should pick this one up since it's a brand new sequel?
Yeah. I mean, if you can, red box it just to try it out. But it's a cool game. I'm definitely getting it.
I don't do red box.
Okay.
I was just round up keeping the game, playing $1 a day.
Okay. Yeah. Just buy the game. Then don't do that. Yeah. So I think already just from seeing all the gameplay, it's worth the buy. It takes a little bit of learning, but it's a fun game. It's really cool. It has some cool characters, and I'm sure there's going to be more content for it to come out in the future.
Okay.
So all that said, I've got my fighting game fix out of my system. We can get to Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, yes.
So before I share my thoughts, because I've been doing this rambling all day now. What do you think? What are your initial thoughts on this?
I'm a bit mixed. I'm mostly a bit negative at the moment because now at first I didn't know what if they're gonna base it on the reboot, or they're gonna base it on the old Tomb Raider, or they're gonna come up with a new story. But for what I've seen, it looks like they're gonna follow the first reboot. I don't know what they call it though. The first one, it could be just Tomb Raider for all I know, but it looks like it's following that story, and it looks okay. But my main concern is this going to be a rated R film? Because when you play the first reboot game, she goes through hell, like literally through hell. Shipwrecked, she gets damaged, she gets beaten, she gets like badly stabbed, and she had to do her own stitches. This thing about it is like, wow, I don't want to sound like, oh, she's a strong female character, but man, but for what I saw on the trailer, it looks like it's going to be a PG-13 film, because I'm not really seeing like anyone actually getting hurt, except when Warcraft gets like, I think, smashed behind the head for that one scene, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, we got your explosions and stuff, but I am not seeing anyone getting slaughtered, so it's kind of disappointing, and I'm afraid this might be a PG-13 film.
Yeah, I will say that near the end of it, there were a lot of guns, so
yeah.
I don't know if that's like a hint to anything.
It might be hinted, but does not mean
rated R.
It's going to be rated R. Oh man, you played the first game, right? Or the first reboot?
I've seen the gameplay.
Oh my god, have you seen the part where you're sliding down this river and you gotta dodge all these branches, and you screwed up? She gets like speared right through the neck, and she chokes like on her own blood.
Jeez, I didn't see that.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm hoping she would die in the film. That wouldn't make sense. But I'm hoping for something like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean that. So, I'm a little biased against video games becoming a film adaptation or having a film adaptation. I'm also against like cartoons doing that too. So I'm already a little bit biased when it comes to this. But also just from the trailer itself, I wasn't very impressed. It seemed kind of like a cash grab to me. Like with this kind of stuff, I don't understand their target audience because the people who play the game, they're probably not going to enjoy the movie. Most people at this point that are gamers know to anticipate that film adaptations of games usually don't do that well.
Some do though.
Some do.
I can name a couple like Mortal Kombat, and I know not everyone liked this one, but I also really liked Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
That's an interesting one because that was an actual it was a great film. The only issue is it had a very limited theatrical release, so it didn't get a full release when it came out.
It was actually cutting down actually.
Yeah, and plus, it was really edited, and then like I lived in Alabama, and I remember I was in college when this one came out, and it didn't come out anywhere near me. Like I don't think it even came out in the state. Maybe in Birmingham, which was like 2 or 3 hours away.
Like on DVD and stuff.
On DVD, yeah, but I mean, most of the sales comes from the box office, like from the theater.
Oh,
so it wasn't marketed well. I think
I was hyped for it the whole time when I first heard about it.
Yeah, but the only other thing is that you have to also enjoy. You have to already have played Final Fantasy VII to really have enjoyed this movie. So it was also kind of the exclusivity sort of thing, which I appreciate. I liked it. I think there was a little bit of story lacking. It had great action, great acting, great animations, great 3D.
Now, a lot of people actually hated that part, though.
Which part?
When the first early release came out, people didn't like the fact that it was more action than story.
That's what I'm saying. Is I love the action, but there wasn't enough. Wasn't a lot of story.
You had to get the Blu-ray version to get more story.
Yes, that's the other thing is that they had this like really sloppy release. So that I feel like that's kind of an interesting case because the overall experience of Advent Children was great, but they had such a sloppy release with the theatrical version coming out limited, not the full version of the movie, then the DVD release coming out with not the full thing, and then releasing that later on. So that's a really interesting case. I thought the movie was quality. I thought it was great. I watched the original one first, and then I watched like the extended one after that, and I was like, ooh, this is nice too.
I think they're both great in their own way.
I agree. But I also think that even still, it might have not have done well because of the exclusivity, because you still had to have this emotional connection to the characters from playing Final Fantasy VII, which is what kind of made it great and rewarding. And I like those sort of films because they're for the gamers instead of just for the general public. Whereas like this movie, Tomb Raider, and like Assassin's Creed, which I'll get to in a second.
I have not seen Assassin's Creed.
I haven't either. But those movies were made for the general public while also trying to cater, like other games. And I was going to make a point of Assassin's Creed. Like I was really excited for this film, and I thought they were going about it the right way because Ubisoft was involved, and it looked like they were trying to just, they weren't doing a reboot or a what do you call it? Like a reiteration of like what's already done. Like Tomb Raider is basically the reboot of the game, whereas Assassin's Creed was supposed to be just like in the universe. Like it was supposed to be canon.
Yeah, like he's like his own character, basically.
Right. And so, like, to look at the numbers, I'm looking at the domestic box office here. They made $54 million.
Okay.
Their production budget, though, was $125 million.
Oh, they lost.
Yeah, so they didn't even break even. They lost like a good $70 million, more than that. I'm not good at math, but that's a good chunk of change.
Now who made this movie? Was it Ubisoft?
Well, no, Ubisoft didn't make it. They were a part of it. They were involved, like in the directing of it. I don't think they were necessarily the head directors, but they had an influence as to where it goes. How much of an influence at this point, I don't know. But it didn't do well. World of Warcraft, Warcraft, I don't know what it's called. That didn't do well.
I actually had a friend who saw World of Warcraft movie, and he thought it was amazing.
I've heard that for a lot of people, but so I don't know why it didn't sell well.
Maybe because when people who don't play games, but they have heard of World of Warcraft, and they probably thinking to themselves, "Oh, it's for people who play those games 24/7." Yeah, nerd alert. They have no lives. This is not a movie for me.
Yeah,
but I have heard good things about that film.
Yeah, I want to see it kind of for the CG. I like mature or at least like not PG rated CG films. I like to appreciate it as an art, not so much for the storyline, but just for the animation and the artwork.
But didn't that movie actually do very well overseas though?
Yes, I believe it did. I believe it did well over in China and like a couple other countries. Yeah. So with Tomb Raider though, me personally, I don't think it's going to do well. It looked kind of cheesy. Like there were a lot of the, what do you call those? Like tropes, like the random jumping into the ocean, like in slow motion, Michael Jordan sort of thing. They had like, I don't know. It just
basically capturing all the greatest moments from the game.
Kind of in slash like action movie tropes, and I don't know. I just don't think that we're at a point where we can make movie games well, because there's a lot of reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is that I don't think a movie is ever going to do better than a game, because there's less of an emotional connection when it comes to a movie. So a person that's going to see the movie that's played the game probably isn't going to enjoy it as much unless they're an ultra fanboy and just want to be there for the experience, or fangirl. They're not going to get it. Like I don't see it happening unless they say that, hey, you know, like okay, for instance, Naughty Dog, Uncharted.
Yes.
You know, I can see that game easily being a movie because it is kind of cinematic. But there'd have to be some really good stipulations. Like I think the voice actor would be a good person to play the actual character because he kind of does look like Nathan Drake.
I haven't seen the actor, so I don't know what he really looks like.
I'm fairly sure. I want to pull up a picture of him just in case, but I'm fairly sure that Nolan North. But there's other actors as well, like the guy from Firefly.
Don't know him.
Oh man, I can't think of his name. Yeah, Nolan North could kind of play him.
Tom Holland, that's his name.
Tom Holland? No, not Tom Holland.
Oh, then.
Firefly's like his old TV show, like an old sci-fi TV show. But I would like to see Naughty Dog, like they're the ones that are controlling the movie 100%.
Okay.
And it would have to be like some sort of extension or something like that. It can't be a reboot. It can't be the same telling of the story. You can't tell a story better than a video game can tell a story unless it's a bad video game. I don't think it's possible to do that. So if you have a good story like Metal Gear Solid, like I don't know why in the hell you'd ever want to make a film adaptation of it, because it won't be good. Like
it would be an 8-hour film.
Yeah, and that's not possible. You can't condense like 8 hours of cutscenes into a 2-hour movie. You can't do it.
I'm just saying that because I had to wait like 30 minutes after the cutscene and then get to the gameplay. Then after 20 minutes later, it's another 30-minute cutscene. Yeah,
like I love Metal Gear Solid. I love all of those.
So I didn't like the last one, sadly.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I still haven't beaten it, so I can't say that I love it.
Let's see. I've beaten the first one. I've beaten the second one. I've beaten the third one. The fourth one is the first one I actually really played, but I didn't really like that one. But the fifth one was, I thought the fifth one was really, really bad. At first, I thought it was great and all, but I really did not like the fact I also had to take care of my base, which was like...
I like that aspect of it.
I didn't. Apparently, I had to work on that to complete the game. I was like, screw it, I'm done.
Yeah, I like base building, so I kind of enjoy that part of it. I spend a lot of time like collecting stuff just to do that. So I like that aspect of the game. I don't like driving around, but I found out that you can kind of like mail yourself to different areas, so I'll probably try to do that. Because like you have to drive, it takes like 10 minutes to get from one area to the next. That's kind of annoying. But But my point is that what was I saying? Film adaptations, like they're not going to do just like Metal Gear, any of the Metal Gears, 1 through 4. It's like 8 hours of cutscenes. It's like, that's not an exaggeration. But the people who make the film aren't going to do like a 3-part movie. They're not going to do a 2-part movie. They're going to try to condense it all into one movie. And like, I love Metal Gear Solid, but I'll be the first to tell you that it's an interactive movie. You get like 10 minutes of gameplay and then a half an hour cutscene. And I like that. I like that because I'm getting the character from point A to point B, and my reward is a cutscene, is a story, is a movie. It's a well-animated, well-acted movie or scene. And I have an emotional connection because I helped that person get from point A to point B. And I don't have that same emotional connection as watching some dude on the screen who's not the voice of Solid Snake play Solid Snake. I know it's an actor. I know it's not the person.
What if the movie was CGI and not live action?
I'd be more open to that because then, they could get like David Hayter or even the new guy that plays Snake now, who didn't do a terrible job, but it's still not David Hayter.
Oh, that's the guy who did the
24,
the 5th one.
Yeah, the 5th one. I can't think of it right now, but technically it wasn't Solid Snake, so you could also get it with that. It was like Venom Snake. It wasn't even Big Boss or whatever the hell. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's not Solid Snake, which is my favorite of the snakes.
Which one is Solid Snake? They all call them
Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Okay.
Metal Gear 1 and 2 is Solid Snake. Metal Gear 1 is Big Boss. Metal Gear 2 is Solid Snake. Metal Gear 3 is Naked Snake or Big Boss. Metal Gear 4 is also Solid Snake, but he's called Old Snake in that one. Metal Gear 5 is Venom Snake, which is like an alternate parallel universe of Big Boss.
Okay.
Yeah. So, needless to say, it's like me and film adaptations of video games. I'm not usually a fan of it. I was excited for Assassin's Creed, and they let me down. I'm still going to see it. I haven't seen it personally, so maybe I'll enjoy it. Maybe I will, but I've watched a lot of videos on it, so maybe I've been tainted by a lot of the negativity.
Have you seen the other Assassin's Creed? It's not really a live-action movie, but they did
no, I want to see that. I love indie films. Like Halo did some really cool ones.
Which one? The anime one, or
Halo Legacy is the animated one, and Until Dawn or something.
I think it was Until Dawn, and I totally lost interest in that one.
I kind of liked it because, again, it was within the universe, and Master Chief was only in it for like a little bit of time. But I just thought it was cool because, like, it was, I don't know if it was Bungie that did this one, or like, I think it was Bungie and like some indie company. And I love that because it had the spirit of the fandom of the game. It was like, I love seeing people do like Street Fighter indie films where, like, Ken and Ryu are fighting and stuff like that, because they're trying to embody the spirit of the game. They're not trying to make a cash grab and make this big silver screen picture off of a game. They're trying to emulate and like honor that game. And maybe I'm assuming too much by saying that like a big movie budget can't do the same thing, but I don't feel like there's a lot of the spirit in it. Like,
now, what if they just make a short internet show like they did with the Mortal Kombat
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, it didn't really follow the game, but the way they did it, I still loved it.
Yeah, I know. I liked season 1 and season 2. I know what you're talking about. Mortal Kombat Legacy, Mortal Kombat something.
It was Mortal Kombat Legacy. Funny enough, a lady at work who does not play video games actually loved the Mortal Kombat movies, but she hates Legacy.
Huh.
She was pissed there was too much talking and not enough fighting.
No, I think it's Mortal Kombat like Rebirth.
No, I think it was Legacy.
The YouTube series?
Yeah.
No, it's Legacy was Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat Rebirth was the mini series with like Michael Jai White was in the teaser trailer, but then he played Jax. But anyway, I like that. they had some big name actors or some decently well known actors in there. Like they had a Power Ranger in there as well, like the Quantum Ranger from was it Speed Force or something?
Wait, Mortal Kombat Rebirth, the fan made red band trailer?
Yeah.
I did not hear about this.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I was talking about Legacy.
Oh wait, I think they're the same thing. Okay, I know. I see what you're talking about. Mortal Kombat Legacy.
No.
I gotta double check this because
this was released a month ago. How was I not informed about this?
Yeah, I'm so confused.
Gosh. I was thinking you were mentioning the teaser before they did Legacy, which I did not care for. Remember the teaser that was going to be a Legacy?
Yeah. I like the idea of that one. They went a different direction altogether.
I did not like it at all. I think it was something about Baraka being a scientist, and all of a sudden he had like what?
Yeah, I didn't like that part of it.
It was a total turn off.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Legacy. So I guess Legacy is what Rebirth became.
Okay, I had to check Rebirth now.
Yeah, there's like one season. There were like 2 seasons of it. Like, but I know season 2, Kinchi was played by like one of the Power Rangers in the later series. But yeah, I mean, again, that's kind of where I lie with this is that I'm okay with indie stuff. Mainly, I'm okay with you not charging me to see a lower quality version of a game. Like, I'm not going to go to a movie theater to pay for a movie. Like, I just don't see the trade-off being that well. I mean, I already kind of know what's going to happen. Like, I don't get as much time with the character. If it's like the same story being retold, it's going to be smushed a lot more. It's going to feel rushed. It's very seldom they can do it because like they have to do like 2 hours, maybe 3 at the most, but usually they can't get the budget for that kind of stuff for a game movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hate to bash something before it comes out, but I'm a little jaded. I'm a little cynical about this kind of a topic, and I don't see it doing well. But that's my final thoughts on that. Was there anything that you wanted to add on to it?
Not really. Like I said, I'm just hoping we get some good old violent, some violentness in the film.
Yeah, good old fashioned violence. It's American.
Violence. Yeah, like I said, I just want it to be like the video game, but like you said, it may not happen.
Yeah. So that said, we're gonna end it here. I'll let you know where you can find this fine young gentleman and what he's got going on. Tyler.
Yes. You can find me on YouTube, the Video Game Hunter 32. Also have a Twitch channel, the Video Game Hunter, which I also stream for the Console Xplosion every Monday. And for any of those who are listening, I am going to be doing my first 24-hour live stream this Saturday, which is September 23rd. And what Joda has told me, we are giving away Steam keys every single hour. So stay tuned for some free games. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who's going to be on top of that since I was not given those Steam keys. So I'm assuming that would be Jared's job.
There we go. Yeah, I've confirmed we have tons of Steam keys to give away, so we got to give those away. So hop in, give them a follow, say what's going on. You could be the person that wins a free Steam key. Free video games just for hanging out with Tyler. That's a win-win situation in my book. So that said, I'm the Philosopher. You can check me out on my YouTube channel. I do a lot of fighting game stuff. FGC of Philosophy is my personal podcast where I talk to members of the fighting game community and talk about personal development, philosophy, the fighting game community, and personal development, and combine that all into one topic. That's over at youtube.com/thephilosopher. Spelled the same way you see down there. That's my Twitter handle, just at the Philosopher. You can message me on there. That's usually where I'm at. I'm on Facebook as well, but I don't really use that as much for like all the cool stuff. So that's what I got going on. Definitely check out the consolexplosion.com and mark your calendars for Saturday to go hang out with Tyler. That said, thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and let us know what you thought about Tomb Raider trailer. I can put a link down below so that you can check that out. Let us know if you think it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad, and anywhere in between. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.